Deeps. Oh my god, I'm a minute late. This is terrifying to me. Just kidding. I'll be alright. I promise I'll be alright. Everything will be good. Good morning. Hopefully, everybody's been having a good Sunday.
Good morning, Sunday. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
What are y'all doing?
What are y'all doing?
Screw him.
Really?
Brother boy.
I know, right? A minute late. I thought I was gonna die. I'm running around. It's because our internet went out this morning. Good lord, they put all fucking chicken in this dip?
I know. Our internet went out when we were preparing. Good morning, little tree sap. I don't blame you. I wish I was just waking up.
The best part of waking up is pagans in your cup. Oh, that's kind of weird.
I'm not a get up and goer at all. I have to think about it for a couple of hours.
I would prefer to be an up all night person, but that's just not feasible in today's doohickey stories.
I need 2 cups of coffee, a little vape, a little slow roll into the day.
There's your stuff.
Definitely not a get up and goer over here.
So we have been meeting out. I'm so... Ooh! Morning, Dragon. Thank you again for coming over and helping with our yard yesterday. We got so much done. I am so excited. Anybody who's not aware, I think you probably have figured it out, but Dragon has been coming over and helping us get our yard into food forest type territory and setting up for butterflies and bees and naturally with certain flowers and stuff. We're still working on that part, but we planted quite a bit yesterday. In addition to our pineapples and our peach tree that we already started with, we added sugar cane, we added ginger, we added aki, and beautyberry. I think that was it. Or there's one more thing I'm not thinking of. There is one more thing. What is it? Mango.
Not the cocoa, just
I love to sing about the Juna and the Moona and the Springer.
About a sky up blue, T for 2.
Sorry about the chip noise. We're kind of, like I said, we're running late because our internet was not working for a minute this morning, and we were transferring 2 of the 4 meads and ciders that we were working on because we're doing 2 more after the show, which will be in the post show. That's what we'll be doing. So a lot of stuff to do today. We tasted our honey mead as we changed it over. It certainly is too bright.
Oh yeah.
But it has fermented down to 1, which I believe is pretty much means there is no sugar left in there. So I think it's done. It's probably going to be a lighter mead, but it's got the viscosity I like. It's really nice.
Viscosity.
We also tasted the first cider that smells like dirty shoes, but tastes really good.
Well, I hope the aging makes it taste more like cider. We're making hard cider.
And if it doesn't, we still made it.
That's right. We still made it and we'll drink it anyway, I'm sure. You can taste the alcohol. I hope everybody is having an awesome weekend. It sure as hell does seem to go by too freaking fast. But I hope regardless, I hope everybody is having a great weekend, relaxing, having fun, doing some magical stuff if you want to, spending time with friends, family.
Any left, and there won't none.
Any more what?
little bit left in the bottom. Then you said you were just going to take one more swig of, and then you drank the whole thing.
I drank the whole thing.
You drank it out. Oh my goodness gracious. So we've got some synthwave mix in the background. It's one of the few royalty-free things I can find. And now I'm dropping all my stuff. Alright.
We had a great day yesterday. Several people over from our tribe or Keith, and we hung out, ate, swam,
amazing.
Made some incense blends.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, you know, it's great to do solitary work, but it's equally as great and needed to have people over in a group if you can, and just to hang out, and if magic stuff comes up, to do it. You can't substitute that part either, I don't think. For me, it was
Agreed.
awesome.
It was.
You're here with the kiddos watching Mickey Mouse? Awesome.
Mickey Mouse Fun House.
We used to watch Pee-wee's Playhouse. Wonder if that still comes on. Jambi.
Stupid.
Mecca lecca hi, mecca honey ho.
You alright? I suppose we should go ahead and call in a circle real quick so we can get started.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
We have some really cool stuff we're going to talk about.
Did you want to start? Hear me, friends and ancestors from the east. Hear my voice carried on the air of clarity and truth. Watch over us as we cast our circle of safety and love.
See me, friends and ancestors from the south. See my flame of passion and creation seared into the energy of the universe. Watch over us as we cast our circle of limitless possibility.
Feel me, friends and ancestors from the west. Feel my love, fear, sadness, and joy washed into the waters of the rivers of compassion. Watch over us as we cast our circle of connection and motion.
Reach me, friends and ancestors from the north. Reach my feet and hands, the earth in my toes and work of my fingers. Watch over us as we cast our circle of the earth.
Know me, friends and ancestors from the ether. Know my intent, know my heart, and know my spirit. Watch over us as we ask you all to join us in perfect love and perfect trust.
Hear, see, feel, reach, and know that the circle is safe, the circle is sacred, and the circle is cast.
So it is done.
Just done. Oh, it is hot and humid in our BG. Not right here, honey bunny. No, not right here.
No, Beachy Beach.
She's refereeing the head-to-head combat with Finn and Iris. And as you can hear, Finn is very mad and upset at VG for intervening, because now he looks like he's weak, and she's laughing at him. Book. Like always, where are you at in your book?
So, I am still reading Lords of the Left-Hand Path, but this week I've shifted to another book. I'm alternating because that's the fire in me.
Oh no, I do it too.
Back and forth. So, the book I've been reading this week is Satanism: A Beginner's Guide to the Religious Worship of Satan and Demons, Volume 1, Philosophy by Brother Nero, or R.J. Womack, as he's also known. So, this actually has some pretty good tidbits. I take things out of everything I read and use them as I want to, which I think we all do. But there's a part I actually got from the book, which I'll credit when we get into one of our main topics for today. And that's about, you know, our busy lives and kind of putting ourselves aside and our magic or our work aside for the mundane work. So I'll get into that later. It's really good. The book is a little judgy in places, but overall I'm halfway through and it's a pretty good book. And again, that's Satanism: A Beginner's Guide to the Religious Worship of Satan and Demons. And what are you reading, Mystic?
How to not Get angry at your dog when she barks. I'm just kidding. I alternate too, so that's one of the things that we've been doing kind of consistently, I think, because sometimes you need a break from what it is you're working on and changing the subject, kind of changing the thing. But I'm going to put a little bit of your spirit on here since you never used it. And we were past spirit class, but this is getting a started blend with the amber in it. So
you're gonna have to go back if you keep doing that.
I'm still reading Uncle Setnick's Essential Guide to the Left-Hand Path. Interestingly, I posted about it on Facebook. My sister has purchased it. A friend of mine from nursing school purchased it. Somebody who I know is a very devout Christian has also purchased it, willing and interesting to just see what it says. So I think that's pretty cool. Go. I don't want to call it like life-changing, but pretty close to that kind of a feeling through it. So, right now, it's really focused on just kind of what is the left-hand path and how do... I don't want to say how do people think on the left-hand path, but what thought processes bring people together on the left-hand path? What makes them feel like they're in the left-hand path? Or what is a common theme across the left-hand path? And what I've learned is I may still not ever be left-hand path, but these processes, and I say that because I'm really just sticking with Pagan here because I just don't have a need to be on a pathway. I don't need, I think Lil Tree Sap said it best. I don't need one focus on left-hand path and my left hand and one focus on my right hand. I have two hands. I use them both. I don't think there's a better way to explain it or say it. So being Pagan kind of captures all that for me. But it talks about, last week I mentioned about the inner and outer world. So I read about, what's rulership in the inner and outer world and the royal power in the outer and inner world and how that kind of works. I am going to go into detail on some of these concepts at some point, just not on here because it takes so long. And I've highlighted pretty much the whole book. But this week I kind of went into vices and virtues. And I'm just going to kind of go through them real fast because this is where I kind of caught on and started mentioning it to my friends saying, look, you don't have to look at this as Satanism or something that's in it. Just look at it separately from everything and listen to it. It really kind of pushes you to a really positive manner, right? So vices are habits of mind, heart, and will that may hold us back from self-determined goals. Remember, you determine or decide that. It's not what's in this book. So if this book says you shouldn't smoke, that might be a vice that we consider a vice by definition. But that doesn't mean you have to stop smoking if it's something you enjoy. But it can hold you back from being your best self. So the first one is narcissism. So think about all the things as a good human you would want to do, right? Or not do. And it lists these in the evil, terrible, satanic left-hand path, right? So the vices of narcissism, hubris, which, makes you believe that all of your actions are justified no matter what. Forgetfulness of past orthodoxies. This thing was huge to me. The victim of the religious bigot will become a religious bigot.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Can be.
The former Christian comes to believe in a loving prince of darkness. The former skeptic will disbelieve even the results of his own magic and preach against it. The left-hand initiate tests whether or not he or she knows of those thoughts and patterns and makes that decision. I mean, this is more Christian than Christianity is the way I thought it was supposed to be. Despair is a vice. It's easy to be overcome in despair on these pathways because this is self-change. You're directing yourself and you have to be in control of that. If you are overcome with despair, initiation stops. Attachments to the thoughts of others. You stop thinking on your own. That's a vice. Obsession with magic. Emotional servitude to others. Practicing things that are difficult for the sheer power gives into their emotions. Those are the vices. I think those are pretty good things you can live by, especially magically. The virtues. Magical curiosity. That I think is pretty self-explanatory, right? So I put this in as our calling. Our calling when it comes to the virtues from our business that we're working on getting together. The occult industry is based on a few books about everything under the sun, hates the sort of seeker that has magical curiosity to experiment on their own. The true systems have broad outlines, but the hard work is how do they work in your life, in your personal thing. But how does the seeker, after he has paid back the occult world by doing their own books, writing their own books in general, we know that each answer leads to 9 more questions, and the quest of getting those is the path. So I think of that when I was reading this, of like from a business perspective for us. Our motto or our business perspective to me is, we're not about giving you a lot of all of the information on broad things. We want to be about experiencing it. We're going to talk a little bit later about our meads that we're making and all the crafts that we're doing and things like that. That's, to me, is the magical path for us. It's different for everybody, but anyway, that's good. Another virtual, quantifiable pride. You do want to speak about the things you do well. That builds your self-confidence. It makes you feel better about what you're doing. You are a force in the world. It goes into 4 effects. I'm not going to go through this because they're pretty detailed and I love them. But it goes further into virtues about sense of humor, openness, moderation, synthesis, and cunning. I don't know about you, but all of those things together in a list for me is not what I thought a left-hand path was, and it is exactly what I've felt like I wanted to do for a long time. That's why this book is in pink. It's highlighted everywhere.
Yeah, it's like pink pages.
Yeah, it's just every single thing speaks to me, and what I'm getting out of it, though, is I'm not getting left-hand path out of this at all. I'm getting this out of, this is just a good way to be. It's just a good way to be a human. And I really am, like, it makes you experience things. Like, that's why I'm still only on, I think, page 18, and I've been reading for 2 weeks now, and I read it, like, 1 page on the airplane, and then I stop, I think about it, I write about it, I process it, like, what does this mean to me? And this experiencing process is freaking amazing.
It's interesting, one of the things you brought up, because last night I kind of couldn't get to sleep. My mind was racing, thinking about all these things, different authors, different books, different paths, and then one thing that broke through, and I don't know if it was from my inner self or a guide or whatever, it just said,
of course it was,
you need to
own your power.
It said, you need to do your magic. It said, you need to figure out what, a simple example, what does that herb mean to you? What is your, said you need to get to know yourself again, magically.
Yeah. You
need to know yourself. You need to stop looking into all these different paths. It was like, and I don't know if it's because it's the time of the year with, the summer winding down.
Probably both.
That energy came through, but it was very loud in my mind. It said, you need to get back to yourself, and know your own magic. And what does your magic mean to you? And
yeah,
that was the message, and I'm going to follow it.
Yeah, it's just like what we've been talking about, where there are certain things that I really want to do and certain things you really want to do, and by doing those things that I may not exactly want to do, it's opening me to being really, it's like I never would have bought a cricket. I never would have been interested in sublimating things and making that stuff. But now I'm so hyper invested in that because it's creating things of ourselves. It's creativity.
And it's fun.
And it gives other people some joy, and it really just builds upon that, doing your own magic and admitting, like, not being an egotistical jerk and saying, I'm better than you, but saying, I am better than me, I am fucking awesome. That doesn't have to be a superlative or better than somebody or best. It's, I am what I am, and I am good. And I think we know that a lot, but we hear it and see it more.
And 2, a realization that I had, I've talked about before, it feels like for the longest time I've been wanting to find a coven. How can I find a coven? Where's the group?
We have one.
We have a group. We've had one for 3 years of people that come over and we do ritual and we do magic. That's the freaking group. I don't need to look for that. We've got it. Everything I think is because of the path is mainly, or at least half, a solitary
Jesus
practice. But
hey, guys,
the coven or the order, or the group or whatever that I've been looking for, we've had for 3 years. And that's something, another thing that came to me yesterday. I'm like, you don't need to be looking on Facebook for covens and that stuff. Or go to an online coven. You don't need
I think the other thing is we have a desire to be a part of something, so we look for something established. Or we look to establish something. Okay. Or we look to establish something, right? So it's either you want to join a school to learn or you want to open your school to teach. Like, those seem to be one of the only things, but that's not how it has to work. There's certain schools that I'm very interested in like learning and traditionalizing their path, because a lot of practitioners say that you have to be initiated into a path. I'm like, I don't need to be initiated into anything but myself. And that, I think, is part of what Left Hand Path kind of teaches us. So then when you look around at all of these schools and things like the Sacred Mists, which we used to be a part of, there's the Fethiata, there's Temple of Witchcraft, there's Temple of Satan, obviously, right? The Satanic Temple, all these different groups that have these trainings and teachings and classes, and we do that thinking that that's going to give us what we're looking for, and to some it does, and it can. But we have found, and I'm speaking for Rook a little bit here because he stepped away for a second, but we have found that that's not what it comes down to. What it comes down to is Joy's class on the elements. Sure, do I feel like I know the elements pretty well at this? Absolutely. Do I still learn something every time I went? Absolutely. Even when people are over here and we're just hanging out, I learn new things, I feel new things, and we get to that process of where we are in our own initiation at all times. And that, to me, is what the left-hand path is really speaking of. But it doesn't have to put you on the left-hand path. You can assimilate those things into the joys that you do. And I just have found I don't need high ceremonial magic. Do I want to participate in it periodically because it's cool? Yeah. But if I really wanted that all the time, I would go probably to the Catholic Church. They're the best at the high magic witchcraft. I mean, they're really good at it. We've talked about that before. But seriously, that's kind of thing. So we've I think hit that topic a little pretty hard. Obviously, the way that I am learning about the left-hand path is kind of like Rook. We are seeking out different avenues and being parts of different groups. Rook introduced me to, I already forgot what it's called. He'll have to tell you. But to a couple of things where we're just engaging people from other groups with no pressure, and it is amazing. Really? Don't point it at me.
I got a difficult one again. It's like really stuck.
I thought you knew how to handle these mushroom sports.
I thought I did too.
You don't.
I'm out of practice, I guess.
But then he brings the champagne in here and points it straight at me.
Oh, thank you. You did it very smooth.
I know. Had a lot of experience.
I'm sure.
But yeah. So like, do you want to, like, if you, and it's so frustrating to me, like with the new, and I'm going to belabor this, we're going to make ourselves late again today, but I belabor the point of, wanting to be a part of a school to learn the basics, or calling myself a noob. We're all of us are noobs at something in somewhere of our practice. So, when you're like, I don't really know how to practice, I don't know how to do something, just pick something and start. You do not have to spend $50 a month to join a school to get the stuff, to learn how to be the witch that you're meant to be, or the pagan that you're meant to be, or the person that you're meant to be. And I just, it's so frustrating. Paranormal, the only advice I can give you on that, and we know this, is if you feel like that, the only person that you can have that makes you feel that way is you. So you really have to look at, why are you stressing yourself so much thinking that you have to be a certain way? Because if you realize the truth that you don't have to be a certain way, you can't be an idiot to that way, because it's yours. It's whatever you need. And that's probably your first lesson of how to be a witch and how to progress in your witchiness, right? Is to just lay down and say, I am a witch, I am a practicing person, I am not new, I am solitary, and I'm going to do what I want to do. Dragon Dancer, we talked about this yesterday. What is advanced to some is beginning to others. And hell, if I pick 2 subjects and I advance in them, all I have to do is pick a 3rd subject and I'll be a beginner again. Like, I feel very advanced in my personal practice, in my meditations, in my ability to go into trance states and work with things. I don't do it as much as I used to. Just because I don't, but I feel comfortable with it. But God knows I certainly don't know herbs and plants and nature, which is a big part of it for me. So I'm a huge newbie to that. So I'm learning.
Kind of like the cycle of the tarot, from the full to the world, over and over. Continuous cycle,
forever.
Everything we go through, and we'll never know anything, nor are we meant to, but thank goodness, because we can keep learning.
Here's the other thing, paranormal, which that you want to know. If you're interested in celebrating things like the equinox, we're going to talk about that today. We're going to go into a little bit more detail again today. We're going to walk through what a ritual might look like for us. somebody just shut a door?
He's guarding that food. He jumped on that box.
Jesus. Poor dog. He's great. But so you can practice and you can do that thing, but I can guarantee you, and I'm going to speak for Joy, and I'm going to speak for Dragon Dancer, and I'm going to speak. I can't speak for a little tree sap, but I am going to speak for Joy and Dragon Dancer because I think they'll agree with me. We have not celebrated every Sabbath properly. We have not celebrated every Sabbath. We have not celebrated every full moon or new moon properly. We've missed multiple of them. Sometimes we just fell asleep and forgot. That's everybody.
Sometimes we just put a jar of water out, and moon water, and that was
it.
That was it.
Or sometimes, literally, I'm so tired when I'm in a hotel when the full moon is in midweek, and I just walk down, it's VG. I walk down, the street into the hotel. I'm like, hey, Luna, I miss you. I appreciate you. Thanks for giving me the energy for tomorrow. And that's it. That's it. Because don't look at what everybody else is doing and talking about putting videos out about every single Sabbath, because we can do that asynchronously. Nobody's doing that. We're not doing that every time. So don't judge yourself by what you're seeing out there, what other people are doing. Pick a topic for yourself. Pick one Sabbath or one full moon, and just go outside and sit and see how you feel. And you are going to be the best non-noob, not idiot witch, period. That's just my opinion, but I think a lot of people would probably agree with that. If I'm wrong, obviously share it. And a little tree step, I don't speak for you because I don't know kind of if you do celebrations, but you certainly can add to that if you want. I don't know if you do like the Sabbaths and that kind of stuff. I figured. That's awesome. So, to get us back on time, I'm going to go ahead and hit the video because we're going to just continue on here forever.
Wait a minute. Are you able, if not, I'll read it, but Paranormal said I could read her.
Yes, we're going to read that.
And when we do, I think it's now, do you want to bring it up? Can you bring Instagram up, or no? You want me to just read it?
Really, as soon as you come out, VG, you just start. Hold on, guys. I don't think I can bring Instagram up on the computer.
I did get permission to do this. So
you might have to read it from your phone.
No, that's fine.
Until it's just too far away for me to even see.
Okay.
To get it up, but that's okay. We're going to go video anyway. So we got that up. It's a little crooked. Sorry about that.
Good morning.
Good morning. We're a little off to the side.
That's how it was meant to be today.
It's how it was meant to be. Yes. And then I figured we might actually be a little zoomed in today.
I'm drinking orange juice.
See, we're not perfect.
Nobody is.
And I didn't even do my hair today. Like, it's all a mess because we've been doing meat stuff all morning. We did 2 transfers and we got 2 more to do. But anywho, let's move forward. We are going to do a couple of topics. I'm going to mention Friday's podcast topic of darkness being your power. I am going to reiterate what I think a better statement would be is it is magical, important, and benefits you only to use your darkness as power and to turn it into things that bring goodness and life to you, whatever you call that. Whether it's darkness, lightness, brownness, bigness, purpleness. It's not that darkness gives you power. It's that you can utilize darkness to give yourself power and to grow your power. Do not use it as something that holds you back because you're going to have to deal with it anyway. That's my opinion on that. Anything on that? I mean, that goes along with the whole topic this morning. It doesn't need to be rehashed.
No, I was just going to comment on Joy. I celebrate what calls to me anytime, not just moons and stuff. Agree.
Yep. And you don't sit out there and just like process each one individually. That's the other thing. So, shadow work. We are doing card 3 and 4 this week. We have no choice. We have to do it. We put the second and third, first and second out not too long ago. But we are now moving into our 3rd and 4th cards, which I don't have in front of me, but we will be releasing hopefully that next weekend. I'm really enjoying the shadow work stuff. I know it's a little, what do you call it? Not
consistent.
Not consistent. We're probably not very professional on it too, either. But you know, it is what it is, right?
Right.
Sorry, I'm Virgo, right?
We gotta light our candles.
These have to be equally spaced.
Well, I'd like them to be lit.
Don't judge me. It was too far over. We can't have one of them going the other way and one going the other way. So yeah, the Eclipsing the Shadow will be coming out. I have been learning so much about myself. It's been wonderful.
We have another one.
Here's a lighter.
All right.
Fiji move. Yeah, you can see I'm off center today too. I'm having a really tough time with my work. So my brain is not all together where it normally is, but you know what? That's fine too. Because that's also life.
Life.
It's life.
Magic for your life.
It does. I really am going to try to trademark this if somebody hasn't already. I like big dicks. I'm not going to give anybody any extra information other than this. We have our business license. We have our EIN number.
Woo!
We are progressing in our 5-year plan, which will be coming. Well, we have a 1 and a 5-year plan. 1-year plan will be announced at some point sooner because we're going to be able to move that timeline up, I think. Podcraft, we're still working on the logistics for that. I think, I don't know how we're going to do it, like for the after show today. We are going to be still transferring our mead and stuff, so that's why we're going to try to end right at 12:30, so we have quite a bit more mead and other things we have to do today. So in the post chat, we're gonna or post show, we're gonna do that, and we're working on how to integrate that craft into the process.
Cool. What kind of business are we building?
It is it's a 2-part business. Part 1 is online for individual wares that we make. So these are going to be literally like a flea market of individual things that we have created, or if somebody requests something, we will make it and then we will put it up for sale. For example, instead of just selling a whole bunch of homemade soaps, which we make homemade soaps, we make homemade candles, we make dream catchers, we make, now I'm trying art, all kinds of stupid art, not stupid art, I shouldn't say that. I say stupid not because it, not stupid as in dumb, as in like no point, right? We're just doing it. There's no real purposeful for it. It's creations, yeah. So we're creating these things and we're going to put them up for sale to see if they sell. While we can do that, to get situated, we are working towards building our actual brick and mortar business, which more to come.
More of a store resource center.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. I'm excited about that. We have Sunday service next week. Let's talk about it.
We're going to do our first service from a live event.
Yes. So next Sunday at 10:30, we will be going live from the 25th annual Peace Day. We will be at Joy's side, probably, I'm guessing, and that is where we will be doing that Sunday service from. It will be using our iPad, so hopefully it'll all work out. I'm not sure how all that works, but we will see.
It'll work out how it's supposed to.
And our goal with this stuff is going to be kind of an online consignment as well. So if anybody makes something that they don't have the ability to sell or don't have the business licensing to do so, then we may purchase those things off of you for a specific fee, and then we will worry about the selling and the consignment of them.
Yes.
Because we want to make like an eclectic online, just one-off, I want that Dreamcatcher, I want that bar of soap, because that one, while we were thinking about it, I got pissed off and threw something across the kitchen, so that's now angry soap.
Angry.
That kind of
I like
stuff.
that. Angry soap.
We're going to have angry soap. We're going to have happy soap. We're going to have pissed off soap. We're going to have I want to kill you soap. Like all that kind of stuff. We're excited.
Well, I got to remember what Dragon Dancer said to put in pies. Well, she didn't say to do it. I said I was going to do it. It was poison.
The ackee fruit before it splits. Or rotten cherries, which I have some rotten cherries that I specifically put aside because we have a cherry tree, but I have some rotten ones put aside specifically for some baneful magic that we're going to do today. Not on stream, sorry. So yeah, super fun. So Sunday service next day, it may not work. We may try to do it and we might end up canceling because it's not working, because this is the first time we may even test it out later today or tomorrow. Well, I can't do it. I can do it tomorrow from wherever I'm at. I have cell service. So if we have good enough signal, it should work. But it will be just like we do our after show. That's kind of how we will be doing it. It'll be through the iPad. But I'm excited about that. This will open up doors for us to do this at, like, we can do it from our land, which our land is extremely special to
And
us.
that's been calling
Yeah.
lately to me to figure out if we can do it from the land. I'd like to
Yep.
do, and it's literally just the land. There's nothing there.
So really exciting that you guys will be able to participate in that next Sunday Peace Day service with us. We will only share things that people will allow us to share, so we might have to go on and offline. That it is a thing. So
it'll probably be like an hour, because it will be at a live event.
It'll be a little shorter. I
Hour-ish.
might not do tarot on the stream because I think we'll be able to do tarot physically there. So yeah, it's just we'll see how it goes, but I'm excited. I think it'll be fun.
That'll be awesome.
And it'll be our like introduction to being able to go out and do things out in the wild. You'll see what actually happens. You'll see what kind of vending things we may want to eventually purchase and commission to be done on our business, which our online portion will probably go live within the next month or two. Right now we're just working on tax stuff.
Fun. And insurance.
And insurance. We don't think we need the insurance just yet. Well, yeah, we do, because if our soap kills you, that's not our problem. I mean, it is made out of lye, and we make it from scratch. Like, it's not... We're not doing the you buy it and reformulate and put your name on it and cut it. Although we will have some like that for the daily stuff, but we actually make it from scratch. Like, we pour the olive oil, we put the lye in it, we almost kill ourselves with the fumes a couple times, that kind of... We're doing it from scratch. Saponification, yes.
Yes, I'll be able to see the ritual.
That'll be so much fun.
That'll be awesome.
And I will tell you, of the magic that we've done lately, which we've done a lot of magical things lately, making the blends with you guys last night, that to me was just the most amazing part of the entire day.
That was for Peace Day. So
yeah.
That was really cool.
Just kind of throwing all that, I don't know, that just did something to me. It's put me in such a good mood with all the stress that I'm having right now. It made my week.
There is something about making your own incense blends out of the herbs that's really nice.
Hell, one Saturday we might make our own soap and just have everybody come over and talk, start screaming at the soap and make it.
It's very
angry soap.
Feels pure. It feels healing. It's nice. Doing it yourself.
I will like to say that I made the idea of angry soap, but I don't think I did. I just can't remember where I've heard it before, and it's been years and years. But you literally, while you're making at it, you yell at it. You call it names. You say, F you, I hate you, I hope you burn. You let all of your aggression out on that soap. Supposedly, the angry soap is supposed to make you feel good when you're using it, because then when somebody's using angry soap, they're like, fuck everything that's going on, and they get it all out in the shower, let the water wash away all that anger, and then you're supposed to have a good day. That's how angry soap works.
That's an interesting
talk about magic
concept.
It's a spell. It's spell work.
It is a spell.
It's also just, it's literally self-help.
Oh, our lights aren't on.
Iris is getting aggressive.
Do you have the clicker for the...
The clicker doesn't turn them on from here if they're not already on. It only changes the colors and turns them off. Turn on the colors! So we also, I see you in the reflection of the iPad. I wanted to bring for my news topic, which we were supposed to have this done 10 minutes ago, the 2023 Nostradamus predictions. So let's talk about those. I'm going to give you the predictions for main predictions that Nostradamus gave for 2023.
Woo!
Mind the squeaking dog toy, sorry. Number 1, World War III, a 7-month-long Great War. And the quote from Nostradamus is, 7 months, the Great War, people dead of evil doing. Some think this is the Russia-Ukraine war that's going on now, or the China-Taiwan thing. I also first thought of the Russia-Ukraine thing because it's been going on so long, but I think that that's probably going to be more of a civil war. But if it comes true, 70 to 75% of Nostradamus' predictions have come true.
The magician.
Based on interpretation. Also predicted by Nostradamus, the Mars landing, light on Mars falling, which means either on Mars there's light and it fell, or it's a spotlight shining on Mars, which we know is kind of a focus. So I thought that was cool. New Pope, where the Holy Roman Church will fall due to scandal, like that's a new thing. And a celestial fire, new world order that will have some very positive effects initially, but then will be limited. And this will be between either a very strong and a very weak country, or a leader and or a male and a female leader. So think like Germany and U.S. or Germany and Russia, or I don't know all the ones that have female leaders. So And I don't even know if she is still there. I don't think she even is anymore. In Angela? I'm not sure. So, I'm looking forward with German stuff. Hey guys, love you. Bye. The second news topic, generational successes.
Hey, Scarlett, good morning.
Scarlett.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for saying hello.
I love it.
Hey.
Yeah, you probably don't need us chirping in the background with clinical hypnosis.
Probably not.
Although it's a class, I get that, but still. So glad you were able to stop in. Thank you. Love it. The reason I wanted to bring up generational successes as one of our news articles is because this came actually from Mark Cuban, who I know some people don't love, and some people, he's a billionaire. He's the man that a lot of people rail against, but he had some really good comments about Generation Z, which is the 1995 and on group. These would be like 25 to 35 year olds, maybe up to, 25 to 15, because we're going younger. Backwards, yeah. 27, I guess, would be the truth. But anyway, 1995 and later. And a lot of times, always current generations talk about how bad the other generations were, and, it's a hop and a skip. No matter how you look at it, generations are going to do that. That's something that's in human nature, I think, to kind of address those specific things. We think that one generation is too strong. They think the other generation is a bunch of pansies. But we've learned that that's a better way of living, and we are more important than, our jobs, things like that. But he made a big comment, or actually a discussion where he talked about all generations have their ups and downs, but we can all learn from our Gen Zers. Those are the born after 1995. We often hear the hate, I think, against other generations, especially millennials, which I myself am at the very edge of Generation X and the millennial. They call me a Zennial. I'm 1981, which is literally included in both.
Are you an elder millennial?
I'm an elder millennial or a baby Gen Xer. At 10 years old, we didn't have internet. We played outside every day. We came home when the streetlights came on. Did that make me a better person? Probably not. I'm also very emotionally centered, and I am working now on trying to pull out of my bag the fact that I judge my whole entire being based on my work. Generation Z knows better. We are not our work. We are everything after work. And that pisses a lot of us off because we see it as a weak work ethic, when I see it as that's a real purpose in life, right?
Thanks, Scarlett. I like them too.
Those came from Old Time Pottery in Fort Myers.
Thank you.
So Generation Z is doing what we've always told them to do. They question authority. They don't go with the easiest answer. They value themselves and their alignment. They detach career from their whole identity. And these are all the things that I'm trying to unlearn that my parents and the boomers and previous generations wanted me to do. And
They're getting
so much
it right.
happier. Yeah, they're getting it right.
Welcome in. Why so serious? Thanks for coming in.
Never late.
A person arrives exactly. A magician arrives exactly when they're meant to.
You called her a queen and then backed out of it?
Well,
you should have continued, because you called somebody else a queen.
I don't know. Yeah, and I don't know if it's a queen, king, or indifferent. So a magician arrives exactly when they intend to.
It is a queen, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay. I'm pretty sure. So yeah, queen works. Of course, queens can be kings and vice versa. So yeah, that whole Generation Z thing. This is a reminder that our parents that make us so angry because they're closed-minded at times, and this is of course not all of them, but as a generation, and the things that they've had to deal with did create who they were. So we have to be a little careful that we're not complete assholes about it, right? They went through shit too. So to make them who that generation is. Obviously, there's exceptions to all these rules. You've got, the 70s and blah, 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 that stuff that happened. But the point is, each generation, I think, is getting it more and more right. And the quicker we realize that, the better we can join them and make it even more right. Because we are the ones that are in the current ability to change agent, not the creation of. They're going to have their change agent years later.
Okay, queen. All right.
Queen. Good, I was right. I won't be wrong. The third thing I just wanted to say, which I thought was kind of cool. Why don't we talk about the ozone layer?
Because it's not real. Just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
Because we came together as an entire world and it's getting better.
Oh, wonderful.
Jerk. So we can finally get into the notes. You have to talk about something for a little bit. Get into the recap stuff. My throat hurts.
All right. Well, I want to know where I can read my name.
Oh, do that now.
I want to read Paranormal Witches blog, where we did have permission. So, if you're on Instagram, please go to Lady Rose 819. She puts out blogs every week, and they're really cool. They cover a wide range of topics, and we were unable to pull it up.
I'm still gonna try while you're talking, but I don't know for sure because I don't have
Her picture is so cool, but if not, that's okay.
I don't think I'm logged in on this computer.
Okay.
And let's see if it'll let me.
No problem. If it really won't.
You can go ahead. If it comes up, I'll bring it.
So this was actually a blog that she did September 8th on the Plague Mask Doctor. And I thought this was really cool, really interesting. So, this is about the Plague Mask Doctor. They were physicians who treated victims of the plague. These doctors were masked. I can't talk today. And were hired by the cities to treat infected patients who were poor, had a low income, and could not afford to pay.
Got it up.
Oh, awesome. I really wanted you to see the photo. So these doctors were not experienced in surgery. A plague doctor was a kind of salesman before he was employed as a physician.
That's scary.
That's scary. Plagues were common in France and the Netherlands. The first outbreak of plague was in Paris, France in 1619. The doctor's name was Charles Delorme, serving King Louis XII. Plague doctors practiced bloodletting and other remedies as putting frogs and leeches on areas to rebalance the patients and the humor. Plague doctors also took patients' last wills and testaments during the epidemic and gave advice to patients about conducting business, and conduct before death. I found this part really cool. The mask beak holds dried flowers, roses and carnations, and herbs, lavender, peppermint, vinegar sponges, cloves, and storax. Doctors believed the herbs would counter the evil smells of the plague and prevent them from becoming infected. The hat symbolizes the profession, and the canes were carried around to keep people away who were infected. That is a really cool blog, and that is by our friend and who we love, Paranormal Witch, on Instagram, who is Lady Rose 819, and I appreciate that you let us share that. We still got to figure out how to loop you in or bring you in so you can do it if you choose. Mm-hmm. But thank you so much for sharing that your posts every week, your blogs, and that one actually, I don't know if you knew, but she dedicated to you.
I did. She said that on our last thing.
So it's really cool.
So I think we're just, as long as it's okay with Lady Rose for now, go check out her page. It's really neat stuff. We also will have a spot on each week now to talk about that little place for going over
our paranormal,
what our P-Dubs has. So yes, too cool.
That is like Victor's mask.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Thank you, Paranormal, for sharing your blog with us.
Yes.
Aw, thank you. That's really nice.
Thank you. That is awesome.
And it's Lady, Ladyrose, Lady Rose 819.
Yep, I put it up there. I put it in there so you can get it on Insta. So we're going to move on and talk a little bit about our recap of last week. So we talked a lot about ritual and celebrations last week because it's a common question. And we don't want to we have so many conversations about, advanced, beginner, all that, even earlier today and with the rest of the group, reminding us that, we're all beginners, we all can learn even in the most basic of something. But, I mean, it does get really irritating. I know, like, when we're reading books and you rehash things, a wand is an extension of your action hand so that that kind of stuff.
But I think on that, it is, sometimes it's needed.
Stuff. Yeah.
It's still needed. Like, there's a book back here.
What I wish is, like, it would be neat to have an encyclopedia
Yeah.
of beginner 1, 2, and 3 with specific things, or searchable, which is kind of what we're doing. We're trying to make our library searchable so that you can kind of go around some of those things. Like, for example, if you want to learn about a broom, there's a very specific book that you can learn about brooms and besoms. It kind of goes in. It's pretty cool.
Like Buckland's Big Blue Book.
Yeah.
It's known as the Big Blue Book of Witchcraft. I have not read that whole book, but I want to through
I
time.
never will read the whole thing, but I can certainly reference it through the index.
I think these things are good. If not, like anything else, you don't use everything, but you can use some things.
Yep, and that is another thing. It is very hard for me to read a book without reading the whole book.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm getting better about learning that I don't have to read every single part of every book. I can go through and find what I need and read that section, come back to it. So let's recap, though, what we talked about last week. We talked about celebration versus ritual. Huh?
I said, all right.
All right. Celebration is very interesting concept of more than just the word celebrate, right? And I'm not going to go into the same detail we did, or as much as last week, but it can be part of ritual. Ritual can be part of celebration, or you can just have a celebration to celebrate. If you, like for me, I worked with Dionysus in the past. And with Dionysus, there is no, like to me, there was no ritual for Dionysus. It was always a celebration. It literally is just celebrating and drinking and talking through your stuff. Having monologues with yourself is a Dionysian thing for me of, building myself up and having conversations that work to what I'm going for. So I want to celebrate that, the celebration, the ritual. It's like the ritual there, and ritual can be ritualistic practices, ritualistic behaviors, doing an actual ritual, a ceremonial ritual, a earth-based, just ritual that you do, like with lighting the candles as we do. Calling the circle is a ritualistic behavior, but then there's also like a ritual. And so we talk about both. And I wanted to share most of our rituals are incorporated in celebration, but not all of our celebrations have a ritual. We walked through last week. This is just a process that we do. Even for us, it's not always the same. Sometimes our rituals and celebrations are quite different. And a lot of times we've learned that when we go and do larger group rituals and celebrations, those are going to be different too. And that is one of the things I absolutely love about being connected to a larger, wider group. So generally speaking, if you're interested in, let's say, participating in a ritual or going somewhere to do a ritual that's open, meaning it is allowed for people outside of a quote-unquote circle. A lot of times you will see an open rituals, but then there's also closed rituals where people usually won't advertise. Obviously, it's for usually an inner circle. But let's say you get invited to a celebration / ritual at a local, like for us, a UU church, and you've never been to one or you don't know necessarily what to expect. A lot of times you'll want to get there a little bit early. You'll probably want to bring something and ask them what they want you to bring, whether it's food or drink or, something that you've made. You don't have to. Most of the time, many of the circles I've been in are like, if you don't have the money to do stuff like that, you just don't do it because you do your best. But you have a meet and greet, right? You meet people, you kind of go there. Usually what we did is we just kind of sit and see who comes around or walk around. Then often there's a candle or a call to circle, which is what we did at the beginning of today, where we go around and call like east, south, west, north. We welcome in any deities that we want to work with. If there's any that we want to work with, we light our incense and do stuff like that. Oftentimes we'll light candles as part of that. I like to light candles for each of the directions that we call. But that's not always the case. And then some central candle. Welcome deity or source if that's something you want to do. Now, if you're part of an open ritual and they call deity, you don't believe in that deity, guess what? You just call it the deity in your mind of who you want to call to. If it's a closed ritual, that could be different. But an open ritual, generally speaking, isn't going to say, how dare you not call it to breed during this Celtic ritual, you know what I mean? There's storytelling often. Like after that, we often talk about stories, personal experiences that relate to what the ritual is that we're doing. For example, if we're doing ritual and celebration at the harvest moon, which just passed, then that's something we're going to do, and we're going to talk about, hey, I cooked X, Y, and Z this weekend. I made an apple pie. I made, I did this weekend. We're having things like that, those stories, and then maybe some folklore surrounding the actual events and times of the year that would speak to those of us, our ancestors and all that. Then after that, we do a closing. Usually, like there will be a closing, the circle will be open, and then we do what many Wiccans call cake and ale, or many pagans will call cake and ale. It's basically eat and drink and be merry. This is the social aspect of it. This is where you get together, you replenish some of the energy that was taken from your physical body, yada yada. I'm very, 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 very big proponent of, if you have not experienced a ritual or celebration, look around and see if there are any in your area. A good place to look is Cups at UU, which is the Unitarian Universalist Church. Often have Cups chapters, not all of them. Meetup is a really good place sometimes to find them. However, you should be careful in those and make sure that you know somebody or go with somebody that you know. I wouldn't recommend going to those things alone.
And make sure you know what's expected, like what's the etiquette of it and the purpose. And
like when we do rituals or have done ritual in the past at church, at the UU, it's very open. And if people come that don't really know what's going on, we don't get mad at them for not knowing exactly what we're doing or performing. We welcome them right on in and kind of work them through the process. But it's always good to go with a larger group, I think. If you truly feel and want to be solitary, then you can certainly do that too. It's the same thing. You know, relax a little bit. Usually there's meditation. That is part of the call to circle and the welcoming of deity and storytelling that's kind of built into that. You may meditate. You may, do those kind of things. And that could be a big part of what it is you're working through. Any comments or thoughts on celebrations? I'm skipping all that because we did it last week, but you can talk about it if you want.
you know what? One part I think it's fun, and I need to be better about doing it more often is making little changes and decorating the altar for what's going on with the season. Mm-hmm. Now it's kind of like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 altars that are, in place, but like I consider the fire altar mine just because of my sign.
And I consider the earth altar mine.
So I need to really get into that the fire altar and update it a little bit. What type of things? And I think that's fun. That's all I really wanted to say about or add to that.
No, I think that's a really good point, number one. Number two, I think, to me, I don't see those altars changing quite as much, but they definitely need updated.
Yeah.
But, our ancestor altar, that is the one that we really could spend some time decorating or building up.
Definitely.
Or what we call our central altar, which is, you can't see it, but it's kind of off to the side here, which is basically the center of our room. And it's got all of our major things on it. It has its, if all the other altars were gone, this one would still suffice with what we have on it. But yeah, I think you're right. I think we really need to do better at, and I'm using the term lightly, decorating the altar. You may offend some people by calling what you put on the altar decorations. Hopefully not offend, but they may correct you. It is decoration. I don't care. That's the action.
I mean, it is, right? Adorning,
embellishing. I think people don't like decorating because you're not decorating a house or a room. You're actually putting things on that help align your mentation and your spirit and your body and your mind with whatever it is you're working on. I think that's kind of that's not decorating. Because some people outside of the craft will be like, oh, you're just decorating your altar with fall stuff. Well, actually, yes, but I'm doing something more. I'm putting fall leaves on it to remind myself of the gold that will come from when all these things fall, right? Because they're going to refertilize the ground. The leaves will, and blah, blah, blah.
Does not have to be perfect. There's some basic things you probably want to have on for the elements, and if you choose to have something to represent the goddess, the god, both, or a combination.
Yeah.
But there's no perfect. It's really, I think it's a good idea to go with some of the basics, like the representations of those things, and then do what feels right to you. Yep, just like Joyce said, based on your heart to how it feels.
I used to have a perfection issue with my altars. It had to be, my water candle had to be blue. I would die if it's not blue. I just can't do water because it's not blue. And I've learned that just does not matter. What matters is the representation that candle becomes.
And an altar can be as small as something that you just set up and take down. You could have a little tiny space in your house or even on a shelf where you can put up something and then take it down if you had to.
Yeah, I think one of the coolest things that I've seen, and I actually made one for myself before I knew they were a thing, but the Altoids 10s?
Yeah.
You can use an Altoid 10, And inside it, you could put this is. I'm just going to make it up as I go. Let me think here. Put in a little bit of ashes left over from your incense, or an incense cone because it'll fit in there. Just a fresh incense cone for air. Throw in something red or yellow, or like a red button or a red piece of sea glass, or a little piece of sulfur, a little piece of carnelian, ruby, any of those things for fire, one little thing. For water, you could put in a seashell. And for air, you could put in a little bit of dirt, or like down here in Florida, the air fern. Even though it is representation of air, I still consider it plant. So it still represents earth to me. And I would put that in my little Altoids tin, and that is my altar decoration for when I'm traveling. Do not ever tell you, number one, that it has to be perfect. It can only be right for you. Now some people do beautiful altars. They distract me when they're like so perfect. It doesn't speak to spirit to me. It speaks to clinical.
But maybe to that person, it helps them connect.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why it's good for them. But for me, it's not. And I think even more so than perfection, it's what feels good to you. Like I can tell you, there are things on our altars that Joy and Dragon Dancer and
that hook.
Victor and all of them that have come over here and seen and probably like, I would never be able to put that on my altar. And that's how it's supposed to be, because it's not their altar, right? And that's what you need to remember. Paranormal or anybody that's in, is your altar is your space to communicate and connect with your source or your universe or your energy or whatever it is. If you are completely atheistic and you do not believe in any divine source or God or that, you can still have an altar.
You can honor the earth.
Yeah, you can honor the earth, or you can honor yourself.
Right.
I mean, that's a perfectly appropriate thing to do. So you would put things on it that remind you of yourself, and things that you maybe want to do or be, So yeah, absolutely. Huge thing.
Sounds divine, Dragon Dancer.
Yes. I want to move to the main topic in case you run out of time, and then go back to the moon stuff.
Let's do
that. That makes me so happy, Scarlett.
Thank you.
I'm always off one row on this board. I keep hitting the wrong button. Our main topic today for the last 30 minutes before going to tarot, which is going to be a quick one today, is managing stress in paganism. I chose this topic today because I am feeling under an increased amount of stress than I have been. And so two things kind of jumped out for me, but they're really coming from just my history with paganism and the Left Hand Path book that I'm currently reading. Utilize magic in stress reduction, yes. Relying on it solely, no. There are other things that you need to do if you're going to manage stress. And I'm not talking trauma. I'm just talking stress. Daily stresses. Losing your job might be traumatic, but potential loss of job, changes that you're not comfortable with, doing things you maybe don't want to do, stressors of daily life, dealing with the kids, getting mad at the kids and yelling at them and then feeling guilty for it because you lost your temper. That means you have stress you need to manage and you're not managing it well. You can use magic to help that, but you don't want to rely only on magic. You have to actually work and process through some of the things that you do or say you're going to do. So when I say managing stress with paganism, what are your first thoughts?
With paganism, the first thing I think of is we're different people, magical people. We see the world the way that it was viewed long ago. So we learn and feel and intuit a different understanding of things. So
I agree with that.
We're not just in the mundane world or the world of agreement. We're magical people. And that brings me to something in a minute I want to talk about in this book that I read that I really liked, an idea, thought, or concept. So to me, when you first say that managing stress with paganism, it immediately reminds me that we are different. We're magical. We do have that spirituality and power to change things. Yes, that comes from doing the work, but two, from our belief system and honoring the earth and using herbs and things to embellish, empower, and build energy to help our physical actions. Do it. The first thing I think of is the word pagan hits me, and it makes me remember we're fucking magical.
Yeah. I do want to make one comment here that's completely unrelated, but it's related to chat. Let's go back and talk about that paranormal witch, because I think we can come up with some ideas for you that may be helpful. We do have a pretty significant delay on our YouTube. I hate it because sometimes we move on to a new topic and you guys are still talking about it. We're going to work on how we can make that better. But right now, like we're seeing, we get these pretty late compared to where we are in the conversation. So just keep that in mind. I want to go back to that topic because that has some really good ideas. And I think Joy can be very helpful with that, with her munchkin thoughts of how to make it kid friendly and specific. As far as altar and all that. So, but anyway, back to managing stress. Yes, absolutely, we are magical. The first thing that comes to my mind is number one thing to me. I don't want to say like, because it makes it sound like, you know, the best Christian praise. The family that prays together stays together. When I say this, but like, I really do believe meditation might be the key to paganism in general, and stress management. And life management. Like, it truly is. For me, it may be different for you, but being able to meditate is such a huge stress reduction. That's the first thing that comes to mind. Like, as a pagan person, meditation to me has always been this silent, quiet room, maybe some music, drums. And that is a huge part of meditation. But what I've learned in the last 3 months, which has opened more doors to me than ever, is meditation and meditating while in life, right? So I learned mindfulness long ago, and it came again up when I was in grad school. So it really drew its mind back out, right, as wanting to be meditating and mindfulness. And then I learned that, being mindful is very, very important in certain cases, but it's also very, very good to be unmindful. And when you're completely unmindful purposefully, you can meditate while you're doing other things. My meditation lately has been yard work. When I mow the lawn, I go into a fully meditative state, which can be bad because then I forget to stop and then I can get close to passing out. Mm-hmm. But my brain goes into a completely different place. It is amazing. It is calm. It is joyous. It is meditative for me. It's trance-like. And that's kind of like the full-on past, mindfulness. So that is a huge part of stress reduction in paganism for me, is literally mindfulness and meditation. Magic from a magical perspective. Magic from a stress reduction perspective for me allows us to channel, like the angry soap, channel the energy that we don't need or like or aren't comfortable with of stress and anger into something physical. It's transmutation. It's alchemy in a different manner. When we do candle magic, maybe that's what I'll do later, I'm not sure yet. But when we do the candle magic and we're looking at that candle and we're intenting it, we're giving that energy to that candle so that it can burn it off. So a little different though, when it's stress reduction. And I think the angry soap is going to be a big part of that for me.
That's cool. That's really cool, Dragon. That's an awesome idea. That kind of to include her and then have that energy and teaching all at the same time. That's really cool.
I was thinking paranormal, things like I don't know the ages of all your kids, but having even an exercise with them where you guys organize things by color in the playroom, like put all the red Legos on the south side of the house, and you know what I mean, just doing different things that would be kind of fun. So yeah.
Aww. She's going fast.
I know.
The time is flying.
Flying.
Let me see. Is this where I put a note about my? Yeah. Okay. Is it okay if I talk about my
Don't ask. Stop.
piece real quick? So I'm reading a book, Satanism Philosophy by Brother Nero, and
Brother Nero.
I like to read all kinds of books and learn things, one to see what different practices are and just soak it all up. But one thing I really liked in this book that I read was along the lines of what we're talking about. So basically, he's talking about why Christians are so successful, why there is such a large group. A lot of them, and don't laugh, but live their religion. They put it first in the sense of, they're out there proselytizing, they're recruiting, they're spreading the message. They put their God first. And I think sometimes as magical folks, we get caught up in the mundane world. It's easy to do now, and we forget that I'm a magical person who happens to have a hectic job. So where the Christians put their faith in a lot, I'm not saying as a generalization all, but in general, a lot of their focus on their religion and the ideals that it entails, where I think a lot of times in our jobs, in our mundane world, in our kids, in our life, like our mundane life. And we forget that we are just not here to exist day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year.
Goes right along with the work talk that we had. Is defining yourself by your work. They define themselves by their religion.
Right. And I am going to focus, because that meant a lot to me. And what came through to me as I was trying to go to sleep last night. And it's just that I need to remember I'm a magical, freaking awesome person who happens to have a hectic and a busy job. I don't have kids, but I do have a job that pretty much anytime they call, I have to answer and be available. But that does not mean that does not mean that every day my whole time and main focus has to be on my job. I have to do my job, but I need to remember, daily to do some things, simple things that are magical.
Responding to it and being consistently engaged doesn't have to be the high priority purpose. Right. We can still do it without making it the key.
Right. It's not life. Your job is not your life. Like I often say, and it's serious by necessity. I'm not exaggerating. If I had a heart attack and dropped dead in my office, the next person coming in to take my place, out of necessity, because of my career field, would step over my dead body to sit in that chair. It would go on. But my animals would miss me, my mystic would miss me, my mom, my family, my friends, and then the world would go on. Like Joy said, you would miss me. Like Joy said yesterday, the show goes on. So I'm going to really focus on living my life, and a big part of that is, learning the pagan ways and remembering that I am a magical person that happens to have a busy job.
Yep. And
so that's what I really got from this book. This book is a little like Christianity to me, but with a different tone. So it's not, I don't like or agree with a lot of it, but it does have some very good points. And it's very interesting to learn about one person's view or path on traditional Satanism.
Yeah. I think it goes into the last topic of the day in our last 15 minutes before tarot, and that is, I mentioned I wanted to include prepping on our topic list, and I want to make sure that I am clear. I'm not talking...
There's spirits in here. I'm sorry, there's spirits.
I don't remember what I was talking about. Oh, prepping. I don't want it to become something like, this whole, this is the prepping podcast, blah, 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 blah. But I want to make reminders of some of the things that we can do to make ourselves prepared for anything. Part of that is helpful in reducing stress, because when you're prepared for something, the stress is reduced. So preparing with knowledge and action. So for me, I think of it in the terms of mind, body, and spirit. So we should always be doing something that's engaging our mind, our body, and our spirit. For me, mind is mostly work, but also I'm starting to learn how to do new things, both magically and in magical world. Body is something I'm also working on. I've started stopped outsourcing as much stuff, and I'm doing more yard work, more of my stuff in my house myself. And then in spirit, we do pretty well with engaging our spirit on different things and being prepared spiritually for things that may occur. And I'm telling you, that alone has made my stress. If things I'm going through right now happened 5 years ago, different outcome. I would be freaking out right now. I would not be able to do the podcast. I'd be probably just worrying, pacing back and forth, freaking out, wasting my day. So think about when you're doing stuff of engaging those three areas in both mundane and in spiritual life or religious life, because they're all important. So yeah, I mean that's really the big thing is kind of managing that stress. And when I wanted to talk about managing stress in paganism, it's about utilizing the things you learn spiritually also in your mundane life. Like Rook said, the more I learn anyway spiritually, the more I engage spiritually or even creatively, the more I'm capable of dealing with mundane tasks, problems, and issues. I feel more capable and less stressed of doing things that will help my life move in a positive direction. Just in general. I also feel like I've come to terms with loss better. Like I am prepared for if something happens and not in my favor, that I have a plan. I may not even know what that plan necessarily is, but I know that that plan is going to happen. And I know that no matter even if worst case scenario occurs, I will still have choice. I will still have the ability to decide what I do next after that occurs. So it takes a lot of that stress bite out of it. And as it relates to prepping, when we're preparing for things, whether it is a test, whether it is prepping for shit hits the fan, or as preppers like to call it, SHTF, right? Shit hits the fan. That's a massive nuclear war, whatever. Our mind, body, and spirit is going to be the center of that, and that's going to be what we have to work on. And that's how we go and how we will move forward and stay stress reduced, not stress free.
Reduced. Because some stress is good. You don't want to eliminate all stress.
Yeah, some stress is motivating.
It drives us. It motivates us. It releases chemicals that we need in our bodies from our brain to be alive and to be able to function and make decisions. And so stress reduced. I like that term.
I like that term. So yeah, really can do that focus and that learning on all those different levels with stress reduction. With, I think ritual and celebration also fits into stress reduction because those get your mind off the mundane world and lets you focus on some growth that you can do. It's kind of like, out of sight, out of mind, but in a way that helps make the pegs kind of fit in the holes a little bit better, so the stress is better. So with that, that's the end. We're going to move into tarot here in a few minutes, but before we do, I wanted to just kind of leave it open to either talk back about what Paranormal Witch is discussing as far as how to integrate children into magic, and or if you don't want to invite children into it, how can you continue to practice openly without, giving any fears or issues or concerns? Because she may not want to actually bring the kids into the practice. Bring the kids. I don't know what bring the kids means. Bring kids into the practice. So there's two different things that can kind of set up with that. I think Joy's comment about myths and stories from other cultures is like amazing. Mm-hmm. I would have died of happiness if my parents would have read me stories from other cultures, Norse myths and that kind of stuff. I think that would have been an amazing segue into spiritual life. But what other things can you do? Well, let's separate it if we can. Let's separate it into two buckets. Let's talk about how can you engage children in spiritual workings as a solitary practitioner at home.
Well, I think children often become interested in things that their parents are doing. So parents are usually better than most people at breaking down complex ideas into simpler stories for their kids. Mm-hmm. I think that's good, and let them kind of come into it as they would. I'm not a parent, so I don't know. But
well, I'm just thinking about what would things that I would have liked as a kid that would have been fun for me to do. And I think remembering on my childhood, I think Dragon Dancer hit the nail on the head on one of them, is definitely outside stuff. You don't have to be in ritual to go outside in nature and commune with a tree or sit and just feel the grass on your legs while kids are playing. That is magical. That is like really close to the door. So I think that's often. So nature time. Let's talk about what would be safe nature time things. I know, Joy. I want to go to that the nursery, but actually, as a kid, when my grandmother went to the nurseries, for trees and plants to do landscaping in our yard, and we built a pond in our yard. It was super cool. Those things were pretty magical in the long run. Oh, I want a pond.
I just want a bird bath. I really want a bird bath.
I want a waterfall and a pond out front. Let's do it.
Can we start with a bird bath?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, we got off topic there. But seriously, picnics. Be outside, picnic, and amazing. I used to love going to the Northwest River Park in Chesapeake, Virginia, where I grew up. Really, of all the places you can hit, you hit that. Really, Brad?
Now you're calling me out. I'm just trying to go to the bathroom.
Oh, I was getting ready to pee too, but yeah, now I have to wait. Just kidding. Well, I mean, I do have to pee, but yeah, little gardening, I love that. But Northwest River, this park was had nature trails, and you could go in and walk the trails and kind of just sit by the water. You could rent paddle boats, and you'd go out on the paddle boats. Those kind of family events may not seem ritualistic just in and of themselves or practicable, but you can make them so by pointing out, let's take, for example, going on a nature hike. Point out the butterfly and asking, what does the butterfly make you feel? What does the butterfly look and represent to you? You'd be amazed, well, probably not because you have kids, at how insightful and intuitive children are when you're asking them to explain something. Because, I mean, I've been schooled by a couple of kids, with some things of, what does a caterpillar mean? And they come up with the weirdest things at first, and you think it's just like not, like, what in the world? And then you're like, wait a minute, that's probably true spirit speaking there. But I remember being engaged by a couple of teachers that I had when we would do field trips, and the comments were always, especially when they were nature-based, most of it was science stuff that I was really interested in, where we actually even went to the park for one of those, and we learned how to dry leaves and identify different plants. And it's just like, what does that mean? And I think 4 years is a pretty good age probably to start talking about that and saying, what are those individual pieces mean to you? What is you see the butterfly, you see snakes, you see animals, you see deer, and get those discussions out. It's your boss calling.
Oh, I should probably answer.
Yeah, you should, and I have to leave, but you
sorry.
better.
Ooh.
Yep, I ate dirt as a kid for sure. For sure. But I think that's what I think those are some of the things that come to mind for me when I talk about, how we're going to engage. I would say even adults, but children in some of these things without even knowing that they're in it is just talking about those things, right, and having the conversations. So. Very cool. I love that. Gathering chestnuts, that sounds like fun. I feel like a 5-year-old with the thought of going out with Dragon, Dancer, and Joy up to northern Florida with no real destination just to find some herbs and plants and forage and gather stuff. I don't know why. That makes me very excited. I think kids might love to do stuff like that. And of course it depends on the kid too. Kids have to like that. But yeah. So, Rook had to take a work call. I want to test out a few things here, make sure that our thing's still together. It is. So, because I want to, and I'm going to turn that back on in a minute, but I want to get tarot started. We're at 11:55. We want to stop at 12:30 sharp because we've got a lot of things going on. In the after show, we're going to do also sharp. We're going to start right at 12:30 as soon as we stop here, because we need to get working on our mead transfers and stuff. We are inviting anybody who wants to come in for that to do that, because I think, like I said, more than welcome. It'll be fun, and we can get some discussion going about that. So let's see. I'm going to change a couple of things here real quick. I want to make sure putting in the Discord link for you, so that if anybody's not in the Discord, you can hop in, and that way you can kind of oh, that would be so much fun. Cave exploration, oh my god, that'd be amazing. But anyway, Discord link there. If you want to join us in the Discord after discussion, we'll turn on our video and audio in the kitchen as we continue to transfer and siphon our mead and other things into new buckets. That'll be totally fun. But let me go ahead and get started on a list here. Who are you? No, who would like us to pull a couple? Right now it's just one card if Rook doesn't come back. But what, who would like a tarot reading? That's what I'm asking. Trying to find a pen that works. I gotta get a cue set up. Do we know how to do a cue in this? In YouTube, because I don't know how. I would love to go caving. Spelunking, not really spelunking, because, yeah, but cave looking. So let's, Dragon Dancer, Joy, anybody else, next time we are together, and maybe, or in Keith, can we talk about potentially putting something together like that? I would be 1000% down for it. We got Why So Serious first. Dragon Dancer, always, got you. Paranormal. I'm going to stall just a little bit to see if Rook comes back out. But yeah, we need to get together and schedule something like that, because I would love to do it. You ready?
Yes, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no, you're fine. So far we have Why So Serious, Dragon Dancer, and Paranormal for reads. We're adding
That's
Joy.
perfect.
Did I miss anybody? I have 4 right now.
Ooh,
Today,
I'd like you to read on me. We can do that later.
I need to read.
Okay.
I still owe Way to read. I'm trying to do that one too. I sent him a message. Hopefully he'll get back to me, because I waited like a month with getting COVID and all that stuff. I just wasn't capable. And I'm going to use a very special deck today, but I am also going to lay these out. I want to share with you, just because that's what I do. I need more room. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I see you, Mom. I still don't have enough room.
Here, let me move some of
Nope,
my
this
items.
isn't enough room now. Do you have your phone? No,
I do.
I need a picture of these cards.
Okay, each individually?
Nope, I want just
or all
I
together?
need them all,
Oh, like all together like this?
if you can.
Let me get in a little bit different angle so it looks
So
nice.
I'm going to use my personal deck, which is my favorite deck. This is the Steampunk Tarot. Did you get them all?
Yeah, but I can still flip it though. Hold on.
Don't worry about that. Just send it to me,
There we go.
because I can take the whole thing. Because I'm gonna print those out, and I just need to remember which ones are where. So the Steampunk deck is a deck that I've only really used personally, and for my own reads, and when I read somebody else, when I do a private reading. But I'm feeling like the need to use them and engage them in a little bit ways that I haven't before. So what I would like to do is Rook is going to pick whatever deck he wants to use.
Okay.
This is one of the decks that I don't let other people actually use. So
Well,
while he goes and finds a deck, we will go. So far, Why So Serious? You're up first. Do you have a question? While you're thinking of a question, this is, again, like I said, one of my favorite decks. It's very personal to me. I have a couple of cards on here that were chewed up by my lovely dog who passed away last year, and I just, the energy in these to me is absolutely amazing. Like, I can read these and feel comfortable with these like no other deck I've ever used, and it's just exciting for me. I love it. So I'm going to use this for you guys today, and I just wanted to get that picture because that was my self-read of all the issues I'm having, and I wanted to get those printed from memory so I can write them down and I'll share them with everybody because I don't mind sharing my private readings. It doesn't matter as long as everybody else does. But anyway, one more. I don't know exactly how long our delay is. I know it's a decent time, but one more I'm going to ask. Why so serious? If you have a question, General. Okay, perfect. You answered right as I was asking. So it looks like our delay is probably about a minute-ish, 30 seconds or so. I don't know why these dogs are having such a fun time barking today. Uh-oh, and I meant to turn that back on. And let's zoom that in just a her. But we're gonna wait for Rook to get back to. So, excuse my oh god, that is so crooked. It drives me nuts. Cirque du Terror, that's a good one.
Did you share the box of yours or no?
No, because I don't even know where the box is anymore. So Rook is going to use Cirque du Tarot.
Let's see what these cards. Ooh, how did you say today?
So Why So Serious is looking for a general.
All right, Cirque du Tarot.
Cirque du Tarot.
A general, she said.
A general.
All right.
Cirque du Tarot, your first card. Can you set that over there for me? Cirque du Tarot is your first card. Why So Serious? Your first card. Lord of mercy.
If I can get it out.
So your first card is the Emperor. This is one of those cards that is calling for the necessity to maintain control of, organize, and keep it together. So whatever's happening and whatever's going on for you right now, in order for it to be a positive outcome or to move forward, you need to be thoughtful and structural and almost... Guys, hush! Almost clinically sanitized. And because you need really to just approach it from a no emotion... Guys, hey, hush!
This one. This is not the shot.
They're probably hearing thunder at this point is my guess. Sorry about that, guys. But I can't do this with them barking like that.
So did you open the door for them?
I did not. I have not moved from here. I think it's probably thunder. Sorry, guys. One thing I cannot do is I cannot read well when there is a lot of noise like that and it's random. So we're gonna put the puppies up for a minute. VG outside? Oh dang, everybody was outside. She punched the door open? She probably. Anywho, let's get back to the Emperor. Okay, yeah, no.
Come on, Luigi. In the back. He ran in. He's right behind you. Sorry, he is putting the dogs in the room. Alright, that's better.
Let's try this again. Whew. I really want y'all to hear the demon dog growl too. Like that is like the most fun part. Anywho, all right. Emperor. Actually, I kind of already hit all the highlights, but I want to go back to them again. Emperor is coming up because there is something going on for you that in order for it to have the positive outcome that you're looking for, it has to be organized. It has to be prepared. It has to be, like I said, clinically sanitized, meaning it can't be an emotional decision. It can't be processed through your feelings. And it does, depending on what card Rook pulls, this may be something that you're doing that you don't even recognize. That you're injecting some emotion kind of into the whole discussion, or maybe even, I don't see it as a decision, but just as something you're doing, right? So whatever it is, there's an emotional aspect in it that's clouding how to make it to the next step or make it to the next level. So pull apart how you feel about whatever it is. Pull apart your your emotional status to it, and think of it logically and clinically and structured and planned. So, for example, if you're trying to work on, I don't know, a craft or a project, instead of picking what feels right, this might be an instance or a time where you need to write down like the actual pros and cons of something and make the decision or progress based on pros and cons that are logical and specific. I think that's what the Emperor is saying in this case. And that says the opposite. It is what it is. The Emperor has spoken. He's a major arcana, so he trumps. Give me
your card.
Huh? Yeah,
Give me your card.
It's fun.
So I pulled, I don't know if you can see it, the Page of Cups.
These are so pretty.
These are really pretty cards. I'm trying to just hold it up where you can see it. So it just shows in the picture, you've got an actress. She's getting ready to go on. It's her first time. That's what I get from this. So in the beginning, it's telling me don't be afraid to be that, to try something new, to be a beginner at something this week. Or if someone comes to you for advice or guidance about something, take the time and spend the time with them to help them as you can on their way.
Beautiful.
So don't be afraid to be a beginner and try something new this over the next week or couple weeks. And if somebody comes to you that's a beginner or a seeker or has a question, spend a little time with them, help them out, because it helps you on your journey as well.
I like it. And that does kind of go with it too. It's more of a logical and thoughtful response versus an emotional one. I think that's a little bit of the answer there is where that's coming from.
And that's what it's going to be, like a reward or have to do with, of course, emotion.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to manifest you, but it's taking that time, a lot of anything physical that's going to make somebody better for it. And that's going to help you inside feel better and that person as well. That's what I see.
Yep, hopefully that gives you some insight why so serious. Dragon Dancer, you're up. We're going to assume general unless you have a specific question, but we'll give you a minute to respond.
Dragon.
And then after Dragon Dancer, Paranormal and Joy, go ahead and let us know. Do you want a general or a specific question answered? And we're only pulling 2 cards, so it's not going to be a life sentence.
And then we need to put us at time for our 12:30, and then once again next week we'll be doing our Pagan, our Sunday service live from the 25th annual Peace Day celebration, Southwest Florida.
I'm so excited about that.
This is Dragon Lady.
Are my plans going in the right direction? North. They're going north. I'm just kidding, obviously. Alright, well, let's see, Dragon Dancer. Are your plans going in the right direction? So we're looking for decisions. Decisions. One more. Ha! The star. Yes, your plans are going in the right direction. I love this deck. So the star for me is a critical directional card. If you go back and look at my readings before, whenever the star comes up, to me it is representing either you being a directional beacon for others, or someone else being a directional beacon for you, meaning that whatever the case is going, there are going to be people going in a similar and same direction, and it is a direction that will bring you to clarity, because the star, I think of often the North Star, was used, and still is, to create direction and to reorient. So yes, to me, the star is one of the clearest right direction cards in the tarot. So that was pretty simple. I think honestly that's a traditional read on the star too. Now, in some traditions, the star can also be a little bit preemptive, meaning going in the right direction with maybe a little bit of slowness to it. But I don't have another card to pull from personally. We'll see what Rook says. But yes, star is definitely right direction. No questions. Whatever it is you were thinking about when you asked that question, do it.
And I pulled the 8 of Wands, and for me, that's a powerful yes card. And I don't know what else to say about that. It's fire, keep going, move forward. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, 8s are in the third. Like, you know, I break them into try like 3 things, like 1 through 3, 4 through 7, 8 through 10. And to me, when you get to that end piece, that 8, 9, and 10, you're at the beginning of the end, right? Meaning we're doing probably in the hardest part, like, or maybe right coming out of the hardest part of the journey, which means things are progressing, things are going. Let's see, what is it? The 8 of Pentacles is one of those masterwork cards. The 8 of Wands for me is like the true. I've created some amazing things. This is awesome. You put the star on top of that. That's a yes. Can my card back so I can shuffle?
Sure. And let me just check what the book says. I say yes, fire, go. 8 of Wands. It's your ally. The energy is building, the pressure is rising, and the end of the act is not too far away. This is where you go big or go home. This is the moment the audience has been waiting for. It's time to pull out all the stops and give them something that will blow them away. Not literally, of course, but a nice blast of energy that will get the crowd on their feet, cheering for more. This is your moment. Yes. Keep it going.
Let me see the picture on that one.
That just shows me, yeah, that's like a big yes.
Yeah, the 8 of Wands is, I think, like a representation of walking your victory lap. Traditionally.
Okay.
I could be mixing it up with another one off the top of my head, but yeah, that's kind of what it is.
Well, good. I'm glad it's clear. Oh, North Florida. I just get used to calling everything Southwest Florida because I'm Southwest Florida centric, egotistical.
That would be geocentric.
Geocentric. Oh, that's funny.
VG, man.
Am I gonna pass my exam on the 27th of this month? Well,
Yeah.
it's probably gonna come back with an answer like, "Well, have you studied for it?" I mean, we'll see.
Well, or we're going to come back with an answer, but you have to remember that is going to depend on what you do between now and then.
Yeah.
To me, tarot is not a future reading service. It is a thought process service, right? So it will help you align your thoughts.
Let's see.
Do I feel like you're going to pass your test? I think you are. Like, I really do. I think it's time. I think if you continue the way you're doing it, it's just slow going. Don't let you get in your own way of things. I think you're going to pass. I think if you get your anxiety up and you over worry about it, we know, as far as I can tell, you know what you need to do. You're passing the practice tests. This is a test anxiety issue, so you have to deal with that in order to pass. Not just the knowledge of the stuff. You have to really figure out where is that anxiety coming from and try to manage that. That is going to be your key to passing.
Okay.
Ace of Pentacles.
Take the torch.
Take the torch. So the Ace of Pentacles is clearly the ace of a Earth, and this is the raw strength of and power of and energy of the element of Earth. And when you pull a card answering a question like, am I going to pass from an Earth perspective, it's basically saying that the outcome is you're going to have a hard time, but you're also going to result in what it is that you are trying to achieve. So what I say from a cards, if somebody's asking me this in a read like you are, yeah, I think you're going to pass the test. Is the tarot saying you're going to pass the test? If you ground yourself and you do not let yourself float up into the clouds before the test, yes. This, again, remember, Ace of Pentacles is the quintessential Earth energy. What does that mean? That means ground. That means keep your feet dug into the ground. That means let go of anxiety. That's an air thing. Let go of creation and worry and process that as a water thing. Let go of the negativity of what is holding you back from actually taking the test. You need to, my personal opinion, meditate, breathing exercises the night before and the day of the test. Eat a solid dinner that is not heavy. Eat a light breakfast that is full of some fresh oats and some citrus. And align yourself with a positive direction. You need to figure out how to let go of your anxiety and stick your feet in the ground all the way. If you do that, you will pass.
Okay. And it's interesting that did pull from the earth about the grounding. That's very interesting. So, the card that was I drew is the Wheel of Fortune. So, it could go either way. And I think it kind of goes with what you're talking about. I don't think it's an issue of knowing the information and prepping in that manner. I do think it's about that grounding, focus, and anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
So what I think Paranormal Witchless is saying is you've got a really good chance to pass it kind of along with what Mystic was saying if the other stuff is right, because it doesn't do any good to have the knowledge if you can't access it. So let me just say what the circus spin on the Wheel of Fortune says. Let's see, because they're all a little different.
Yeah, traditionally Wheel of Fortune is really about you taking control of spinning the wheel and stop it where you want to stop it, control your destiny, because it really could go either way.
Okay. When the wheel is lowered close to the stage, a lone archer will have to decide where they wish to place their arrow. Of course, others have an opinion, as they always do. Sometimes the advice is helpful, but oftentimes it is not. It is up to the archer. It's up to you, which in this scenario would be you. Where do you wish to direct your arrow? What fate are you aiming for now that the wheel has made its way into your show? Just remember this. No matter where it lands, it won't stay there for long. The wheel turns, and as it does, your arrow will either fall off or turn with it. Perhaps it is not about aiming where you think you want to be today, but it is checking the wind of the future and adjusting your shot accordingly. So, I think you got the smarts, definitely. The knowledge.
Yeah, we're not getting any air issues here.
No air issues.
These are earth and fire and some water.
And it's a major, so it's earth.
Two.
So
Oh yeah, one major.
I would focus on that. Focus on the earth and the grounding. I would, like you said, I think you said meditate. I would burn some incense that feels grounding. And I would continue to study. But I think it's more about on the day of, make sure as best you can you sleep, you eat, get enough to eat. And in that moment, find something, a cord or a tether that you can, imagine that you're putting down outside the door of where you go into test, that no matter what happens, you're able to calmly focus and go with your, the right answer and access the information that you do have.
Yeah, I think that was actually some pretty good advice there from the tarot. And traditionally, like I said, the Wheel of Fortune is about choices. It's about controlling, and really in the end, there's a 50-50. I'm learning right now, personally, paranormal, and this is outside of your read here, but I'm personally in learning right now how it doesn't matter, but not like I don't care it doesn't matter, but it doesn't matter of no matter what decision happens or occurs or what happens, it's just going to happen. It's what it is. It's what it's going to be. And if you make a choice to do something one way and you didn't choose the other one, it doesn't matter. The other one doesn't matter anymore because you didn't choose it. Right? So when you choose to do the things that you're doing and keep trying, you got to remember that is an amazing choice that you're doing to keep going and keep pushing, and because it's something that you really want, and you're going to keep doing it until you pass. Even if this doesn't turn out every time, but I have some pretty good feelings this time. Like, I think this is going to be a good go.
We've got your oil candle ready to light, and I'll start lighting it again in the build up to it.
All right, Joy. Question.
Joy. Joyanne.
Sunshine and rain.
Joyanne.
I used to not like the Wheel of Fortune. I know it's weird to think of not liking a card, but I used to not like the Wheel of Fortune because I felt like it was too ambiguous, but that was because my personality wanted a yes or a no, and the Wheel of Fortune showing up is never a yes or no. It's a yeah, both, huh, maybe not, both, neither. That's the Wheel of Fortune. I mean, that's what it stands for. And then at the end of that, but what does it matter now?
Yeah.
I mean, that's how it feels for me.
Spin the wheel.
Good. And we have a candle here for you, too.
Yes, we do.
Need to redress it, but this chair's hurting my bum.
No, it does hurt. I thought it was just me.
Nope, it's because it's too short here, and it's too short of a
Let's
pitch for the
see what
seat.
the cards say for joy.
All right.
Joy, joy.
Okay, so Joy General. Let's see what we got.
What does Joy need to hear today? Or what would be helpful for her?
The Lovers.
Oh, okay.
All right. Joy needs to see the Lovers. I think that's already happening. Right, so the Lovers is another card in the Major Arcana that can often be misrepresented, but it often can be positive too. Now, I don't read the Lovers. Thank you, Joy. I saw that earlier. I just forgot. The Lovers is often taken as a card about love, and it is, but it doesn't necessarily mean romantic love. I generally will pull and see what the cards around it say to determine whether it's a romantic or some other type of love. But in this case, I'm not even getting that either. What I'm getting is truly the love of spirit. This is a love on a next level of things that are in surrounding, and they are in focus, meaning there are so many things that are kind of fluttering about, almost like little, I don't know, little like lightning bugs, or what do they call them down here?
Love bugs.
Not love bugs.
Not love bugs.
Lightning bugs and
June bugs?
no, shush. Never mind. I shouldn't have asked you. There's a word for them.
Fireflies.
Firefly. Thank you.
See, you should have asked me.
3 times. You said stink bugs or
I
whatever.
said love bugs.
You said another one after that.
June bugs.
June bugs. Really? That doesn't even matter. But almost like little like fireflies and lightning bugs kind of flying around and all kind of buzzing around, and just a feeling of just of things are exactly where they are supposed to be for you right now. There is nothing that is missing in the guidance of what you're seeing or what you're feeling lately. There are some mundane concerns because the Lovers often look. Well, this kind of goes back to mind, body, and spirit, right? So the Lovers in the Major Arcana has those 3 pieces to it: love of mind, love of body, love of spirit, love of others, love of self. So those are the lenses that you can see it through. And then, so there's some mundaneness that's kind of having a problem. But as far as the feeling of love, the giving of love, the entendre of what is around you in love, environment of love, everything is exactly where it is supposed to be. There should be no questions that what you feel and what you've been moving towards is exactly where you're supposed to be and how you're supposed to do it. And this is going to be very clarified by the Tent of Pentacles.
Pitch a tent. Ooh.
Pitch a Tent of Pentacle.
Pitch a Ten of Pentacles. Yes, honey. Wouldn't mind if I do. The
You're an
Ten
idiot.
of Pentacles. And this, to me, it's just saying, you've got everything you need. And there's things, whatever you're going to be working on, it'll happen. But importantly, to me, it's not about anything coming up. It's just right now that the physical things, the mundane things, the things you can touch, see, and feel, you've got what you need, and that's a good space to be in.
Yeah. And traditionally, the Ten of Pentacles, again, we're at the end of that 10. So cycles are completing, meaning it's time to really put that cycle down and start the next one and be a beginner at something in the mundane world or in the in any world, really, but in where mundanity is present.
I like reading the circus spins on them. I just want to see how
yeah.
the circus top goes.
Yeah, tell us how the circus top goes.
How the circus top goes. Let's see. Okay, so the circus spin on this, because I like the terminology. Right here. The show is finished. The crowd is gone. The last of the players sweep the stage for any lingering props or costumes that might be hanging around the performance area. This performer finds a bag full of pinnacles and imagines what it would be like to find a bag filled with real money, just laying around waiting to be claimed. The feelings that come from that find are enough to bring it into your reality. Of course, if you can hold that feeling long enough. This daydream, this act of seeing oneself stable and secure in one's material world, is a dream that we all share. It's a collective fantasy. Some can hold the vision and energy of that fantasy and make it a reality, while others shrug it off, just as a nice dream, but something that could never happen to them. The devil and the ringmaster look on. Oh, I do see them in the back. Wondering which of these two lines of thinking our performer may be following. Not all magic is an act, some of it is real. Well, I think Joy's the ringmaster is the energy I'm getting from there. Where did my co-host go? All right, I need you to help me put up my favorite screen. Oh, I was going to ask if you could help me put up my favorite screen. Oh, okay, sorry. I thought you were getting me some champagne. Oh, we disappeared. Can you all still hear me? It looks like our little video went away. Anyway, so I hope those cards pulled are helpful in some way to each of you and help to generate some thought or, thought and something to chew on. In a few minutes, we are going to go over to the after chat for the podcast, in which we will be transferring some mead. And this will be a first transfer from the initial fermenting phase into the second fermenting phase.
All right, so
that is that. I was telling about the after chat. Yes, ma'am, that we are going to, you are welcome, that we are going to do, which will involve transferring our mead. And here is my favorite part. I feel guilty. I just steal it from Mystic every week.
You don't feel guilty at all, not even a little bit. You do not cur.
This makes me the happiest to share what our people are doing. And if anybody wants and gives permission to be listed on here for whatever you do on YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, please let us know. I'd love for this whole page. I'd love to have 3 pages of this. But everybody, please check out all of these awesome creators, witches, and wonderfuls. Adius Dade on Twitch and Instagram, Mr. Malice with an I on YouTube, and Adius Dade, 2 words, on Facebook and Twitter. As you all know, they do the Malice Experience podcast on Friday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Thereabouts. It seemed like more like 8:30. On Friday nights with his co-host Mystic Salann, who is this wonderful guy sitting next to me, From the Cauldron Witch on Instagram, and From the Cauldron Witch Tarot on Instagram every Sunday. Usually she does an awesome tarot stream with spot on readings. Please check her out and be on the lookout. Again, those tarot readings will be at From the Cauldron Witch Tarot on Instagram. Paranormal Witch on YouTube, and Lady Rose 819 on Instagram. As you saw a little taste of earlier, she does a great, awesome, and interesting weekly blog post every week on magical, paranormal things. It's amazing. Please check her out. Unexplained Possibilities on YouTube and Unexplained Possibilities altogether on Instagram. On YouTube, it's 2 words. You guys know Melvin. Check him out. He does some great interviews, videos for all things paranormal, and just always great content. Ziggy Dreadful on Twitch. She streams games and is a lot of fun. She's got a great positive group, as does Mavethel on Twitch. And we are 2 Pondering Pagans on YouTube and Facebook, and 2 Pondering Pagans altogether on Twitter. I am Rook Tempest on YouTube. I do not have any videos out yet, but we'll be working on some. Rook_Tempest on Instagram. I do post on there.
I don't have any videos out on mine either. They're all on this channel.
On 2 Pondering Pagans on YouTube. That's where you can find our videos. Mystic Salann, all one word, on Twitch. And Salann Talwin on YouTube. As always, I just want to say thank you to everybody for popping in, dropping in, and spending some time with us on Sunday. And next Sunday, we will be live from the 25th Annual Peace Day Festival.
Woo woo! That is all for us. We will see you in the after chat as we work on our mead and whatever else.
Thank you all. Have a great day and a great week.
Bye.